Geordies, welcome back to another episode of Finding Fabian Schär's Replacement. I said yesterday was going to be my last episode on centre-backs. Then I thought we'd looked at loads of players that have already made their name in senior football. Why not at least look and explore one player that is about to make their name in senior football and is doing so very quietly and under the radar this season, and that is French centre-back Jérémy Jacquet. He's 19 years old, born in 2005, stands at 6'2", and he's made 31 senior appearances. He's missed 30 days, 3 games through injury, and his market value is about 5 million. But when you look at this lad and watch him play, you'll know exactly why I'm excited about this guy's future in football. And why not bring a centre-back like this to Newcastle United? Because I still believe Fabian Schär's got a year or two in him. So having him as an understudy would be perfect for Newcastle. So today we're going to be looking at him in isolation and seeing how he compares to Fabian Schär. You've got to understand there's a disparity in leagues, but taking nothing away from the lad, because the way he's transitioned into senior football is very impressive. So how does the data compare him to Fabian Schär? Well, as you can see, Fabian Schär on the left, Jérémy Jacquet on the right. I love saying that name. But as you can see, just 30 games in senior football, and he's already sitting very highly in the percentile against centre-backs in Europe. So you can see he's well-rounded in this. The progressive carries is high, the progressive passes is high, tackles, interceptions, blocks, clearances, aerial duels, wins are all excellent, and that's very beautiful reading, especially for a 19-year-old with minimal experience in senior football. I've actually known about this guy for a while because I got asked to do some scouting on the French youth team, under 17s it was, and this guy caught my eye, so I've been watching him for a while, and he's coming out the Rennes Academy that's produced some wonderful talents over the years. So he's had a very good education, he's got a very good pedigree and background, so I've got no doubts that this guy will compete at the highest level of senior football. So these are the types of signings we should be looking at. This is how statistically he compares to Fabian Schär, but we're going to be breaking it down more specifically and in more detail. But look, the data is very good reading, but let's break it down in more detail. A while back, I had to write the scout report on him, and these were my findings. I put it in a bullet point for us to discuss and break down. So he's a centre-back that has defensive midfielder qualities. He combines physical presence with a technical proficiency. What I like about him defensively, he's got a diverse skill set. He tackles well, he intercepts well, he's got a good reading of the game, clears the ball, he makes blocks very often. He's got exceptional reading of the game and what to do in different scenarios. He's got a strong aerial presence, he's very athletic, he's strong, he's quick, which makes him an excellent box defender. But what I like him is how he regularly makes adjustments to his stance in different situations. Against dribblers, he'll stand crouched, ready to just spring off in either direction. But his range, he's got long limbs, and this sort of range gives him the advantage in duels. He's a box defender, he's an excellent box defender, and he typically likes to get touch tight, so he's a proactive defender. He'll go out and engage when he has to, and this means he unsettles the opponents, ensuring they can't turn freely on the half turn or create any separation from him, but it also impedes your opponent's momentum. So as a defender, he's got very likable qualities. His profile is excellent. However, he's definitely not the finished article, and sometimes he does lack concentration. Runners will just run off him at sometimes, or he allows him to get on the blind side, so his body shape's all wrong, and he still needs a bit of refinement in his decision making. His decision making by knowing whether to step out, whether to go wide and double up on a winger, or just keep his shape, or push up higher, or drop deeper. Those are the sorts of decision makings off the ball that he does need to improve. However, this comes with experience. Not all 19-year-olds are going to be the finished article. There's going to be times where they do make errors, but it's learning from those errors. And from what I've seen from this boy, he can definitely learn from those errors. He's actually spent the first half of the season on loan at Clermont, but Rennes have just paid just under $1 million to return him from loan because he was absolutely excellent. So I put this defensive graphic together comparing him to Fabian Schär. Now I understand Fabian Schär's doing it in a much brighter and quality league like the Premier League, but when you're doing this at 19 years old, you've got to have something to you. And he absolutely does. And I mentioned how he's got a diverse skill set when he's defending. He's averaging 2.4 tackles per 90, winning a massive 1.45 of them, whereas Fabian Schär's only averaging 1.25 tackles and only winning 0.64. He's also averaging 2.66 interceptions per 90, whereas Fabian Schär's only averaging 1.49. When I mentioned he can do everything defensively, he can do everything defensively. Usually what you get with defenders, they're either high tacklers or high interceptors. He's very high on them both. He's averaging 5.56 clearances per 90, whereas Fabian Schär's only averaging 4.12. His ball recovery is not as great as Fabian Schär, 64% for Fabian Schär, 3.25 for Jérémy Jacquet. But what I like about him is this stat, the dribblers tackled. He's averaging 62.5% of his ground duels won against dribblers, whereas Fabian Schär is only averaging 42.4%. And he's also averaging 60% win duel in his aerial battles. And I mentioned in my previous shows that 50%, anything over 50% in the aerial duels won is very good. He's averaging 60% and will only improve as well. When you come to scouting youngsters like this age, 19 years old, it's all about their profile and how they adapt to different situations. And his profile speaks of volumes because he's 6'2", he's got good physical build, he's quick, he's aggressive, and he's strong. He's got all the elements and the attributes you want in your defender. Yes, we want defenders to be clean and precise in possession, but we also need them to defend. And those weaknesses that are pointed out is something that you can improve with good coaching. Eddie Howe knows how to coach people into better players, and that's exactly what he would do with this lad. I think he would be a terrific signing defensively, but let's look at his ability in possession as well, because we all know in this day and age, for defenders, you've got to be good in possession. So what's he like in possession? Well, again, he's a centre-back with defensive midfielder qualities in possession. He's actually played one game in senior football as a defensive midfielder, so I've got no worries. We could mould him into a defensive midfielder. Joe Linton wasn't a midfielder before he arrived. Look at him now. He's transitioned into an absolute beast of a midfielder. So I've got no worries. When you've got players his age, that you can mould them into the players you want. And he's got the qualities to either play as a centre-back or as a midfielder. He's extremely composed and confident in possession. He's got the ability to drive with the ball, but he's also got the ability to find a pass. He's got a key eye for initiating attacks from the back line, frequently delivering accurate long balls to transition play smoothly. Technically, he's excellent, comfortable on both feet, and this is what you would expect from a player that was educated in the Rennes Academy. His ability to initiate and find teammates from deeper areas is extraordinary. When you've got players of his quality and his ilk in possession, that allows you to take up further and dangerous positions. So it'll not only improve our side as a collective of playing out from the back, but it will also improve players in the final third of picking up more dangerous positions because he has the execution and the quality to find them. One aspect of his game, what I absolutely love, he's got this ability to disguise these passes, play the reverse pass where it looks like he's opened his body up to go one way, then he plays the ball the other. It completely offsets the opposition structure. One thing you will find in Jacquet's game, his ability to play the diagonal or the long ball. He loves switching the play, hitting his wingers early. And I think in a team like Newcastle United, that's exactly what we want. We want to hit our wingers early so they've got the ability to isolate their fullbacks. And that's how we transition quickly. So his attributes absolutely fit what Eddie Howe likes. Now, there is still some weaknesses. Sometimes his decision making when playing out from the back could improve. He sometimes looks to force play where a better option is just to keep possession, but also his accuracy as well can be a little bit off, but he's more than comfortable on both feet. So how does he compare to Fabian Schär in possession? Well, as you can see, Fabian Schär plays more passes, but the impact that Jacquet has is greater. He plays more progressive passes. He carries the ball better and is more progressive in his ball carrying. He plays more passes into the final third. His forward passes percentage is a lot higher. He plays more key passes. And one stat I added in that's got nothing to do with in possession, but I needed to add it in somewhere. He commits less fouls than what Fabian Schär does. So it goes to show in his defensive ability, he's a lot more calculated than what Fabian Schär is, because Rennes do a lot more defending than what Newcastle do. So he should theoretically have higher percentage of fouls committed, but it's actually lower. So he's excelling in every single department. But again, I want to say he's definitely not the finished article, but in terms of profile and how you can coach him to become a better player, he's got all the elements that you want in a defender. Because when you're putting out numbers like this in just 30 senior appearances, you know you've got something about you. He's got got character, he's got personality. But I've spoken to some people and they say he's a very good and likable guy. So I kind of feel like putting a player like this into a system like Newcastle, where it's a good environment, everybody's pulling in the right direction, he can just become a part of that and you can probably keep him. Let's say his market value is 5 million. You sign him for 20 million. You've got your centre-back for the next 5, 10, 8 years. But I don't know what you guys think. I'm just sitting here thinking, if we need a right winger, if we need another midfielder, if we need a striker, why not be a little bit more clever? Try and spend a little less money, but for potential, because a player like him doesn't come around very often, in my opinion. Now, you will need to work with him a lot more. Let's say you sign Mark Gay. You probably don't need to work with him as much as you would with Jacquet, because Mark Gay's got unbelievable amount of experience. If you're ready to put the work in, put the trust in this player, allow him to develop in your system while Fabian Schär's still here. For me, that's exactly the type of thing we should be doing. But look, guys, I would love to hear your opinion. Do you think Fabian Schär's got another year in him? Could we bring in somebody like Jacquet and have him as an understudy to Fabian Schär? Or do we need a first team regular relied on centre-back? Let me know in the comments below. But if you've enjoyed this video, make sure you hit the like button, hit that subscribe button. And until next time, away the lads.